My name is Sarah Schimmel, Sarahschimmel. Today is October the 16th, 2016.
And what was the situation that led up to your addiction?
That led up to my addiction? I would say primarily divorce. After getting divorced, just really just went downhill in life. I don't know, Miss Brenda, it's hard question.
That's okay. What led up to you coming to Teen Challenge?
Okay. After a divorce, I started messing around with meth and just a little bit of use here and there, which led to a lot of use. And I was arrested back in May and ended up spending a little bit of time in jail over that, and kind of lost all hope after that. I lost my kids and became suicidal after losing my boyfriend to drugs. And after losing him and losing my children, I just lost all hope and became suicidal. So it's a little bit of all of that. Addiction to methamphetamines and a severe depression. My mother ended up having me arrested to try to save my life because she felt like I was going to try to commit suicide again, which ended up leading me to Teen Challenge.
And what was your mindset before Teen Challenge?
I was completely delusional. I thought everyone was out to get me. I thought the FBI was out to get me. I'd gotten involved in some stuff that made me completely paranoid, not to mention all of the meth that I was using. So the state of mind whenever I got here was extreme paranoia. I just really felt like everybody was, they had nothing good for me. Nobody had anything good to offer me at all.
And what's your mindset now, since after Teen Challenge?
Now, I'm proud to say that I'm no longer delusional. I have a clear state of mind. I can think clearly. I see people clearly now. Yeah.
And what kind of relationship did you say you had again with your boyfriend, husband?
I had a boyfriend for about 6 months. I began using meth heavily. Well, really, I just began binging on it. Like it was January 2nd, and that was the very night that I met this man. And very quickly, he introduced me to shooting meth by the 1st of February, and he was the one that introduced me to it, so it just kind of bonded me to him even more. And I had isolated myself completely from my family by this point, and slowly pushing my children out of my life. And he was all my world revolved around that, and shooting at meth. And I mean, I was in love with him as much as I could be for the state of mind that I was in and for the lifestyle I was living. We completely depended on each other. A lot of it was from our addiction, but a lot of it was due to my loneliness and my void for my children. And I completely depended on Reed to fill the void of everybody. And whenever he overdosed on meth and died, I died with him. Every bit of hope that I had of ever pulling out of any of the dark world that I was in, everything died with him.
Did you ever blame yourself for his death, or did you realize it was just a drug?
No, I knew that his addiction was out of control, and every time he stuck that needle in his arm, I knew that he was putting his life at risk, and I know that I'm not to blame for any of that.
And did that make you think that maybe you shouldn't be doing the drugs?
To be honest, I had already been trying to quit the drugs. He was trying to keep himself away from me a little bit to keep from influencing me. I already knew the dangers of methamphetamines. I've worked in a police department, and I've also worked in prisons, and I've just been around. I've been around addicts, and I've been around criminals, that have been charged with all these drug charges, and their lives have just been so destroyed by the drug. I knew the dangers of it, and I believe that that's why I chose the drug in the first place, was just to punish myself to the severest for divorce and for ultimately just failing my family for my divorce. I felt like that was my punishment. That's what I had deserved for I guess, just leaving my husband and getting a divorce.
So the drugs is the reason why you left your husband?
No, the reason I left my husband is because he was very abusive. We got married at the age of 20. We had our first child at 25, and that's when the abuse began. It was verbal. He was never physical towards me, but he was a severe alcoholic, and the more he drank, the more he took it out on me. And it was every single day him telling me how worthless I was, how he couldn't believe that he was with me, that I was not worth loving, and that he had made a mistake by having children with me. And he even apologized to my daughter one night that I was the mother, that I was her mother. And that was just the end of the line for me. I knew that I couldn't put my children through that kind of abuse anymore. That I couldn't let my daughter think that was okay for a man to treat her that way. If it was okay for her mother to go through it, I didn't want her to feel like it was going to be okay for her to go through it. So I thought divorce would be the answer for me to try to find happiness and a healthy lifestyle and a good example for my children.
And also, so you think because of your relationship with your boyfriend that had drug problems is why you ended up marrying somebody who was alcoholic?
I was married by the time I was 20 and divorced at 32 to the alcoholic. And then after that divorce, I found myself in a relationship with Reed. It was about 9 months after my divorce. I got in a relationship with Reed, and that's whenever my meth addiction really started. And he's really the only relationship I've ever been in besides my husband.
Okay, so actually your divorce was before your meth?
Yes.
Okay, got you. How did you think God thought of you before Teen Challenge?
I thought that I had really became so delusional during my mess, and I just really honestly didn't think that there was a God anymore.
Well, how do you think? I'm sorry, go ahead. Apologize.
I was just going to say, so I did not feel that God had any kinds of feelings towards me because I just firmly believed that there wasn't one.
Now, how do you think God thinks of you now, since after Teen Challenge?
I feel like God is very pleased with me now. He can look at me and smile now instead of feeling sad because he sees how far I've came in just 1 year. And I've got an entire lifetime to continue to improve and to heal and to grow and to become closer to him. And I think he's extremely, extremely pleased with me.
And how was your family life before Teen Challenge?
Other than my marriage, I've never really had a family life. Both of my parents are living, and they both have their own lives. It was always me and my husband and my children. So after my divorce, I tried to depend on my family more, but I didn't know how to ask them, and they didn't know how to give to me. So I really didn't have a family life. I felt like I didn't have anybody there for me. I didn't know how to ask. They didn't know how to give.
How did that make you feel?
Very lonely. The most lonely I could ever imagine in the world.
And how's your family life now since after Teen Challenge?
It has improved during my program. God has restored a relationship with my dad. I've never really had a really good relationship with him. We just always have ignored each other. Just nothing there. And now we want to be in each other's lives, and I want to hear what he has to say. And he wants to get to know his daughter, and it's beautiful getting to know my dad for the first time. My mother, on the other hand, she still has her own battles, and I've realized that I cannot carry my mother through life anymore, and I've had to give that relationship to God and give her to God in a way that I believe that He's going to do what He needs to do with her, and I can't worry about it.
Now, when you were younger, before marriage, what kind of life did you have?
Before marriage?
Yeah. Did you have a happy childhood, or friends, or?
I would say, a mostly average childhood. My dad was an alcoholic whenever I was a little girl. I remember him and my mom fighting a lot. He worked a lot to avoid my mother, but also to provide for us. He grew up with a lot of siblings, so he went without. He did not want us to go without. I was always close with my mom, but I feel like it was more like she needed me. I always felt like I was born solely to take care of her. That I was her caregiver, her rock, her strength, and that's how I've always felt. I have two brothers, and I felt like I was their mother most of the time. I have really good childhood memories, but the bad usually outweigh the good. But I'm going to say I had an overall decent childhood.
How did you perceive yourself before Teen Challenge?
Before Teen Challenge, I thought I was a rock star.
And why was that?
Because there was nothing out of my reach that I could not have by manipulation. I could get anything I wanted from anybody I wanted without hardly any struggle or challenge at all. I was very controlling and very manipulative and very, very mean.
Well, how do you think you are now?
I think that I have been fully changed by the Lord. I believe I'm a very compassionate person, very loving. I believe I'm very supportive without having to be somebody's rock. I can be supportive and encouraging from the sidelines. I believe that, what's the question? Okay.
Oh,
I perceive myself now.
yeah.
I perceive myself to be strong-willed, strongly motivated, headed in the right direction. I feel like I'm an overcomer. I believe, I'm just on the right track in life. I'm full of hope and joy, and I have great ambitions in life.
What type of people in your life led you? Well, we already kind of mentioned that. What type of friends and family did you have?
I had isolated all my family prior to coming to Teen Challenge, and I completely surrounded myself with people that were users and criminals. I've gotten pretty far into what I called the dark underworld. There's no other words for it. Just the meth world. So just users and criminals. Completely another world that I had never even imagined existed, and that's where I was living.
And could you tell us a story when your addiction or life was at its worst?
I would say at the worst, when I thought it couldn't get any worse. was the morning I woke up. I needed to go to court for the drug charges that I had caught. And I got a phone call from a friend that told me that Reed had died. And so I had to process that on my way to court because I couldn't miss court. And so that evening, just long story short, let's just fast forward it 2 days. I went and viewed Reed's body. And it was the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life, was to go and tell him goodbye. And I spent a few hours there with him. And, whenever I left there, I went to Walmart and ended up getting arrested for grand larceny and spent that night in jail. And the whole time I kept saying, this is not real, this is not happening. I had completely lost my mind at that point, and whenever I thought things couldn't get any worse, they had. And so I ended up picking up more drug charges, not drug charges, but a felony for another felony. And whenever I got out of there, I just went right back to the needle, and it's just, I couldn't imagine life being worse than it was right then.
How did you hear about Teen Challenge?
I heard about Teen Challenge from a man that I was dating. He had completed the program in California, and he's the one that helped me to get into this program.
Awesome. So, when you came into Teen Challenge, what did you think of Teen Challenge? What was your opinion?
I just knew that I thought I loved who I was then, and I really wasn't very willing to change because I liked all the control that I had. So whenever I came into Teen Challenge, I was not a real willing participant. I didn't know how to be willing. I knew I wanted to change. No, that's not even true. I don't know. You're going to scratch that. I don't know how I felt.
Okay. Now, do you think about Teen Challenge now?
Teen Challenge is an amazing opportunity for anybody that has a stronghold or an addiction. I don't believe that any other program would have kept my attention or kept me. But this program, God, He latched hold of me right off the bat and started showing me His love for me and my purpose. And I believe that Teen Challenge is an amazing, amazing program, and I thank God.
And could you tell us a story of your best experience in Teen Challenge?
Yes. One of my best experiences was a day that I chose to live. I had been here for about 3 months, and I've been struggling, still feeling suicidal. I was just doing I believe I was doing some classwork, and I just went from my head to my heart, and I decided that I wanted to live. And I went to Miss Cassandra, and I just announced to her that I had the burning desire to start living again. And it was the day that I chose to live, I would say, was one of my best experiences.
And could you tell us a story of your best experience with God?
My best experience with God here was probably when I was filled with the Holy Spirit at Pastor Josh's. It was amazing. And it was the best feeling. No drug had ever made me feel the way that God made me feel in the Spirit whenever it entered me.
And if you could tell yourself anything 5 years ago, what would it be?
Don't do drugs.
And during your stay at the program, what scriptures, verses did you find helpful?
2 Corinthians 4:8. For we have this treasure in jars of clay to show this all-surpassing power is from God, not from us. I stood on that verse after I was filled with the Holy Spirit, and I'm so in love with God's Spirit, and I'm so glad that I have it. More recently, Luke 8:48. Then He said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. And Philippians 4:13. For I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Okay. And how did Teen Challenge help you?
Teen Challenge has helped show me how to live again. It's given me structure back in my life, balance. First time in my life I've ever had an eating balance. I feel balanced now as far as food is concerned. How to balance out my time, my attention, just, you know, who I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this.
You're doing great. Sum up your life in one paragraph.
I've had a very full life. I have 2 wonderful children that I believe are going to go on and just be wonderful citizens. I believe that they're going to be amazing parents, and I believe that I've had a very full life. I've had some awesome careers in my life. That my life is not even halfway over. And I can't wait to see what God is going to do, how He's going to use me, where He's going to take me, and how He's going to grow me.
And a tagline for Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge made me into.
Yours was good. Thank you. Teen Challenge made me into an asset. That's horrible.
What was mine?
Oh, yours was good.
Oh.
Hold on, can I think of one?
Yeah.
Let's see. Teen Challenge made me into a strong woman of God.